journey started when I was 8 years old, because I was born in Paris, France. So I'm French, although I sound very American. And I moved to South Korea and China when I was 8, where my brother and I went to British International and American International schools, not speaking a word of English. So while the experience of going, so far across the world was scary, it was always it was also such a fantastic experience to be immersed at such an early age in different cultures, different perspectives, different countries. And from a very early age, Lori, I really got to see as well, what does it mean to be born in a community of privilege? And what does it mean to be in a community that's highly underserved? And I think that childhood just really influenced my perspective of the world and my passion for this work. So my parents were by far my first mentors in really opening my eyes to the world. And then, fast forward, I started my career at the World Bank in Paris and then in Southeast Asia. And based out of Bangkok, working in Cambodia and Laos, I had this experience of working across communications, community development, and education programs. And one of the things I saw through that experience was the importance of engaging stakeholders who are normally left out of the decision-making process, because engaging those stakeholders is not only the right thing to do, but it was so foundational to shaping programs and policies that would actually work. And so, I just remember being in the back seat of a car. I was 26 years old in my little suit, going to see a community in Cambodia and just having this aha moment of, why am I going to this community and telling them how to live their lives? I've been here for 6 months. This just doesn't feel like we are truly democratizing access to opportunity. And so, the World Bank does amazing work, and it's not about the World Bank, but from a personal experience, it was eye-opening being in that car ride and thinking that my passion was really centered around democratizing access to opportunity, and in particular capital, because it's very hard to build the life that you want without capital. And so I went back to school in London, learned about microfinance, the water crisis, what was, creating inequality in the world. And I just, happened to take this position at the Clinton Global Initiative, where I literally snuck into a press conference where entrepreneur Gary White and actor Matt Damon were talking about this new innovation around the role that microfinance could play to solve the global water crisis for billions of women around the world. And so through my work with water.org, since I had the chance to join them and really prove that business case, I would say that another really pivotal moment that shaped my mindset, Lori, was meeting the women who took out those microloans for water and seeing how an approach that was truly demand-driven, centered around democratizing access to capital, really worked, because no one takes out a microloan if they don't have to, right? And so those were two foundational moments. I want to add one more, which is, fast forward from the water.org journey and seeing how the model was working and how women were repaying these loans at the rate of 99%. It was also really inspiring to build water equity and see what we are capable of when we think creatively around bringing different capital tools together. There's one fund we built at Water Equity that's one of my favorites. It was the second one that brought a $5 million first loss philanthropic guarantee together with $50 million in debt and equity. And it was the creative use of those capital tools that I think very much helped us prove the thesis around the possibilities of investing in water. And it's what inspired me to launch Lebec, was to really share that playbook with as many entrepreneurs and asset owners who want to see more bang for the buck, right? Want to see more from their capital and the value that it can create.
Thank you for that. Do you remember the year that the Fund 2 launched?
It was 2017.
Yeah.
And there's a great case study on it that is now with Convergence. So I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the other questions. But, the thing that was so foundational it was very hard, initially launching water equity because there was so much skepticism over the ability to invest in water, right? Water was deemed not an investable asset class. And so to kind of bring philanthropists on the journey in a way where it could then convince a Bank of America, the US government, IKEA, and others to invest for the first time in a water fund, proving that you can invest in water in ways that, impact people and generate financial returns was really great.